Good morning. We are just checking to make sure that you can hear us. This will start in 1 minute.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Profitable Salon Owner for Vagaro Salon Software. Our motto is get salon owners profitable fast, very fast. You know, one of the biggest struggles we have in our industry is creating profitable businesses. We all start out with great intentions, but there's so much behind the whole progress of creating a profitable business, so much more than just the services that we offer. And that's what our expertise is in, is helping to develop skills necessary to run your business. And of course, who are we? We are the two blondes.
Oh, here we come.
Oh, yep.
There we go.
There's Catherine with her 2 glasses of wine.
No, I really only had one. There was someone else in the picture.
Who actually took the picture. I have to concede that.
But you do.
And of course, you know, we have so much fun when we're out and about sharing our expertise with all of you out there. So thank you so much for being on the webinar this morning. We're so happy to be here, and we've actually got a really exciting topic for you today.
So we are going to talk about scripting your way to success.
And this is your how-to guide.
Yeah, because let's face it, and this is something I love, Eileen. What makes a great sales organization?
Great salespeople.
And what makes great salespeople?
Great dialogue.
And I think that this is something, because we've all been in sales our whole business lives, but this really says it all.
Well, I think because, you know, our industry, we are so service focused, right? Like we talk about the technical stuff and we worry about, you know, color formulas and color placement, edgy haircuts, all of these things. But I think that one of the things that we forget is, in the end, we are salespeople, because believe me, if we are not selling our services, we are not having our clients come back. And if you have had a client come back the second time, guess what? You're a salesperson. You sold them on yourself.
Absolutely.
So why is dialogue so important?
Well, it is everything.
It is everything. The words that slip out of your mouth are completely the most important thing that you can do. And also the way we change our dialogue is particularly in this millennium, when doing business the way we did in the 1990s, even the early aughts, we have to change up the way we've done business. It is no longer just open your door and they're going to show up.
Build it and they will come. That has long gone.
No. So one of the best ways that you can do it is to finesse and create really, really great words and dialogue and scripting that are going to engage your clients and want them to come back, because in the end, it's all about the experience.
Absolutely. An experience. Think about that word, because we want to change your mindset. It's all about the experience. And let's face it, most of us are not born to sell. We didn't, you know, come out of the womb, jump up and be ready to be a salesperson. That's, you know.
You're absolutely right. In fact, you know, Catherine, I have been a salesperson most of my adult life. And I remember back in the olden days,
back in the
olden days, and learning how to sell. And we were taught, you know, all the scripting and how to use it. And I remember being in front of a customer and having to use these words for the first time. And I can remember the blush I felt on my face, because I was so nervous and so anxious about, saying the right things. Well, the funny thing is that the customer ended up purchasing from me, and I was so thrilled. I can remember walking out of that business and just going, oh my gosh, it actually worked. So I really practiced and honed my skills, but you know what? It did take practice to develop it, because we're not born to sell.
But it's like anything else, like when we were kids, when we learned to ride a bicycle, you didn't get it on your first try. At least I didn't. It took me a while to learn that skill of pedaling, and, then you're getting your training wheels off. So it's the same thing. But if you don't do it and you don't practice, you never get any further. So I think it's really critical to know that you're not born to sell. It's a skill just like anything else, and you can develop it.
Exactly. Because every business, every single business is a sales organization. Whether you're a doctor, a chiropractor, a dentist, a salon, a spa, a tire replacement, it's a sales organization. Because Absolutely. Believe me, even in a doctor's office, if you don't like the experience when you go in there, you don't go back. You find a different home. So to be competitive, you have to think like a sales organization. And here's what we sell. We sell products, services, and
your own personality.
That's the most important thing that you can sell.
Absolutely. It's like anything else. It doesn't matter where you go. Even in not a business setting, outside of a business setting, so much depends on your personality showing through, so that we're able to come across as genuine, as caring, as, wanting to listen. I think that's a big thing.
I think it's a huge thing. And I want you to really think about your own experiences when you're engaging with another business. So for example, you go into a store, and your first impression, think about that first impression with the sales clerk or the associate or whatever. And, you immediately form an impression. Did they sell you on themselves? Did they greet you with that smile and say, welcome to my business or whatever? Or were they sitting on the phone and they didn't even acknowledge you or whatever? And what is your reaction to that? Don't you feel kind of slighted?
Absolutely.
I feel pissed off.
Yeah. You get 8 seconds to make a good impression.
Isn't that
8 seconds.
interesting?
And it doesn't matter when somebody walks in the front door, if you just raise your eyes, if you are on the phone, just raise your eyes and smile.
And because that makes a message right there.
Yeah. Smile. That's all you need to do. That says welcome when somebody is walking into your business. But these are the things that every business is a sales organization. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a salon and been standing before stylists, and I have heard these words. I am not a salesperson.
Oh, that's one of our favorite objections, isn't it?
And then
I don't sell.
Yeah, I don't sell. No, you don't. I don't sell anything either. I educate people. And in the education that I provide, they will want to buy from me.
That's right. But, to be brutally honest, you're a salesperson. You're just not going to get away from that. You have to be a salesperson because seriously, if your clients come back a second time, you sold them on your personality and your skills. That's why they're coming back. They're not coming back because you didn't open your mouth or whatever. You had to engage them in some way. So that's your personality. So please, the number one thing is you must remember that you're salespeople.
Yes. Whether you want to admit it or not.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about some sales techniques because in the end, that's what we like to think that scripting is. It's about selling.
It is.
And how to make it easy. How do we make selling easy? How do we take that fear out of, when our stylists and estheticians say, oh, I'm not a salesperson. How do we take that out of it?
Right. And it's really, for me, it's really simple. I think everything that we do is all about closing the sale.
Exactly, right from the moment they walk in the door.
And it's all about giving a great experience so that clients don't feel that they've been sold to. They feel that they have had such a wonderful experience that this is just a natural part of
their process and their service, right?
Totally.
So if we assume the clients want what we have, then that's the way we work towards it. We assume that they want to our services, but they also want our products. They want our education. They want our prescription. They want what we've got.
Well, let's face it. Why are they coming to see you? They are coming to see you because they have a problem. They need a haircut. They need a color. They need something different. They need their skin looked at. They need hair removed. They need something. They have a problem. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to address the problem. But it's as we go along the way, it's how we do that and how they feel, F-E-E-L, a huge word.
Is it ever?
How they feel about the experience, which I think is amazing.
Because if they feel positive, you've done your job. You've sold them on what it is that you're doing, right? The word assume for me though is really a two-sided coin, because this is the only assumption we should ever make in the salon or spa, is that the clients want what we have. Please never assume that you know how much your client has to spend. Please never assume you know what the client is feeling. And please never assume that you really know what their whole life is all about. Just assume that they want what we have to offer.
Absolutely. And then once you have done that and we have given them what we have to offer, we're going to offer alternatives until the client is satisfied.
Exactly. I mean, one of the most important things that we do in a selling experience, you might say, is I really believe that this is the difference between open and closed questions. If you just say, do you want to buy some shampoo? It's really interesting. I find that the human being is really resistant to those kinds of questions.
Right.
And, usually we're asking that almost at the last minute. And they just want to get out of there. They've already moved on, right? So they said no, because it's going to take an extra 3 seconds to do that process. So instead of asking a yes or no question, we want to offer alternatives until the client is satisfied. And you'll see when we move into more of the scripting, how we use that, the alternatives until we get satisfaction.
Absolutely. So let's move on to the next slide. Remember to smile. And I always like to point this out. I can't tell you how many times I go into a business and the person that greets me does not smile. It immediately puts me off.
I know, it's scary, isn't it?
Yeah,
because you think, in fact, I really noticed this the other day in our own center, Kath, because I heard the doorbell go, so I was walking to the front center, but I had something on my mind, right? And I wasn't as focused on the client walking in, and I realized that I didn't have a smile on my face as I walked down the hallway until I got closer to the client. And it really reminds you that, a somber face just isn't welcoming.
No.
We must smile, because it immediately puts your client at ease. Immediately.
Yeah. And whether you're greeting them in person or whether you're on the phone, when you pick up the phone, stop for a half a second and check and make sure you have a smile on your face, because it can't help but actually it changes a whole bunch of muscles, and it can't help but change your voice.
Exactly. And try that, because you'll see that when you talk with a smile, your voice lilts.
Yeah.
It changes it. There's just something about the shape of your face. So whether you're on the phone or in person, just remember to smile. And I'm going to have to really, coach myself on that one, because I got to remember to smile more.
Yeah, well, sometimes you get really focused. I know that my husband, when he gets really, really focused on something, he looks angry. And I remember, he used to come into our salon, he used to do the order, and I would have some of the staff go to me, what's wrong with Rick? Is he really upset? And I would go, oh, no, he's just really, really focused right now. But we have to be aware of that, because we can portray that to other people, is that, a different emotion. They think that we're upset, angry, So we have to
distracted or whatever, not focused on them. Because in the end, let's remember that what we're talking about here is about an exceptional guest experience. And we want their experience from the moment that we have our first contact is a warm and welcoming. And that's your smile.
Hear, hear. So smile often and smile
and
pretty.
The world smiles with you.
Oh my goodness, here she goes. On to our next one. So let's talk a little bit about first time client greeting. You know, when the first time a client walks into your space, or you know, is on the phone, but right now we're gonna talk about the client that comes in, walks in your door for the very first time. How is that client going to be greeted? Well, again, scripting is all about writing things down.
Exactly.
Having the service flow, having the flow of how that client is going to be greeted written down. Now, we're not saying that everybody has to, you know, use exactly this language, but what we're saying is they will find their own words and they will find their own cadence when they are talking to a client. But you want to have something down there so that they know what the flow is.
Exactly. Because again, really think about it and how you feel when you go somewhere else to have a service and how you're greeted. So, like I really believe in standing up to greet clients. You know, maybe that's pretty old school, but I still really believe it because I think it says something. You know, when you're sitting down and a client walks in and you're just kind of looking up at them, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Well, I will tell you at my business in Winnipeg at the front desk, we have no chairs.
I think that's a great idea.
We have 3 different pods where we can greet people, and there are no seats, no chairs. Stand up.
Yeah.
We want to greet clients at eye level.
Exactly. I think
and come out from behind.
Exactly. I think that's really important. So, you know, here we're talking body language as well as the scripting, right? And, you know, good morning. Welcome to High End Salon. My name's Eileen. How can I be of service today? Or, you know, welcome to High End Salon. So glad you came into the salon today. How may we be of service? You know, so you find what works best for you, but just know that, you know, you're saying it with a smile on your face. You're greeting them eye to eye. It is really important. And I really believe, of course, that names.
You have to use their name in the greet at least 3 times.
And your own name to them, right? So
absolutely.
that they know who they're talking to, because there's nothing worse than not knowing who you're addressing.
Absolutely.
So make sure you introduce yourself.
Yeah. And, you know, the next one down is I put it in here because I can't tell you how many spaces I've gone into and I'm kind of left hanging in limbo, wondering where I'm going to put my coat.
Yes, or, you know, where am I going to do?
So it just is, again, it's all in the flow. And it has to be written down, because if it's not written down, how do you know that, you know, Cassandra knows that the next thing she should be doing is taking Mary's coat?
Exactly. Again, if you write it down, then she can, you know, your front end people will know exactly what to do, or yourself, you know, even if you're working on your own, these are all really, really important things to understand that, you know, your client, of course, isn't going to just sit in their chair with their overcoat on. So offer to take it.
Absolutely. And again, remember, we're going to keep going back. It's all about the experience. You know, if you turn around and say, oh, just hang your coat over there.
Oh, yes.
That's not the same experience as, may I take your coat?
Exactly. Mary. And, you know, Mary likes to have people call her by name.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mary's, in fact, really adamant about that.
Yeah. And then, you know, following that, Mary, if you take a seat over here, I will ask you to fill out our client care form, as it will help Monica assess your needs during your consultation.
Exactly. Now, remember, this is the first time client greeting, right? We want to make sure that right from the get-go, this brand new client feels wanted and nurtured.
Absolutely. So,
and you know, if you've been on our webinars before, if you've heard the consultation webinar, and this would be a really good time after you listen to this one, is to go and check out the consultation one if you haven't listened to it already, because the consultation takes your whole service to a whole new level.
Absolutely. So, you know, it all kind of goes hand in hand. We're giving kind of the flow, and then this would go into consultation, which all goes hand in hand. And then we'll come back with some scripting for the close at the end of the service.
Exactly.
Really, with the consultation piece of it, we definitely have, there's all kinds of questions on there, and it helps you script that as you go along.
Exactly.
So first time client greeting, you have to make sure that you're going to make a great first impression. And I just want to share a little story here. I was in LA last weekend at a class. We were looking at a new hair system, and it was really interesting because one of the men that was teaching, the stylist that was teaching the class, he has Glenn Michael's salons in New Orleans. And, you know, the Southern charm, it really gets y'all. And it was really great. He was great, but he had some great language as far as scripting, and all of his staff say the same thing. You know, welcome, Miss Eileen, to Glenn Michael Salons, where you're going to have the greatest experience you've ever had in a salon. We're so glad you're here with us today.
Fantastic.
But he made that statement right off the hop. Guess what? He has to live up to that statement.
Exactly.
And every single one of his people have to live up to that statement.
And you know, and to go back to the whole concept of scripting, that's the key phrase, is all of their staff. So no matter where you work, what you want to do is create a consistent treatment of your staff, and that means a consistent scripting as well.
Yes.
You're so that you're saying the same things to any client that comes in the door, and it doesn't matter whether you're a chair rent or work in a large salon. Everybody in there should get together and make sure that you're creating a similar experience for every single client that sits there.
Absolutely. Well said, Eileen.
Thank you.
And then let us not forget about our bread and butter. This is my big thing, because oftentimes when we have a regular client that comes month after month after month, or it could be weekly, you know, we sometimes take them for granted.
Oh my goodness. And you know, nothing drives a client away than feeling like they've been taken for granted. In fact, you know, so often, one of my pet peeves, Catherine, is seeing promotions that target new clients, which is fine, but on the bottom it will say not available for current clients or existing clients or something. And I think, come on, people, it's our regular clients that are the ones that carry us through from day to day. We have to take care of them. So, and here again is another little bugaboo, is whether you are a front desk person or a stylist or whatever it is, get to work early enough and check your schedule so you know who is coming in that day. Because there's nothing worse than going to the desk and not remembering, oh, what's that person's name? Oh, hi. What was your name again?
It makes you feel, remember, the experience just went way down the tubes.
Yeah, exactly.
If you do that. It should be seamless. Good morning, Danielle. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's a good, solid greeting. Again, no different. May I take your coat? Would you care for a beverage today? Your usual Earl Grey tea with a little milk?
Could you imagine how the client feels when you've remembered what beverage they take?
Yeah, well, the other day I went to have my nails done,
yes,
and I walked in. I was a couple of minutes early, and the lovely, lovely girl, her name's Christy, who was behind the desk, and she is phenomenal at that desk. And she said, "Hi, Catherine." She said, "Amy is going to be right with you. She's just going to be a couple of minutes. But while you're waiting, would you like me to get you your usual Earl Grey tea?"
Hey, Catherine's an Earl Grey tea freak.
How could you tell? That's what
And
I
you
put on
know, and Earl Grey is not necessarily really common in a salon or spa. And I bet you anything, they make sure that they have it in there for you.
Yeah, because I'm there every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, but it was just, it makes you feel special.
It does, because they took the time to remember. And I think it's an incredible skill to have somebody really great who's manning, you know, the front desk and it's like a conductor in an orchestra, making sure that everything's going smoothly and everybody's in tune and working together. I think it's an incredible skill.
Yeah. Well, I think if you are in a salon where you have front desk coordinators, I mean, to me, I call them the air traffic controllers of the salon. But it doesn't, if you are on your own, if you are an independent, let me tell you, just knowing some of those little nuances about your clients, it's going to take you up, you know, a notch with them if you remember things about them. It's beautiful.
And here's the thing. You're on this webinar. That means that you are a Vagaro user. And in your Vagaro system, you've got a place for notes on your clients. Take the time and use it. Make sure you jot down things about your client that are important to remember, because then you can refresh yourself. As I said, don't show up at 9 o'clock if you've got a 9 o'clock appointment. Show up a good 15 to 30 minutes before you need to be there and review your day. Find out who's coming in. Go over your notes. Check it out. Be proactive. Remember, we have to step up our game if we want to be in this business. Yeah. We have got to.
And that's, you know, that's an interesting point, because even in our own center, Kara, who is the trichologist in the center, the night before, not the morning, the night before, she goes and she looks to see who she has coming in the first thing in the morning. She has everything set up.
For the treatment,
for whatever. She has everything set up and ready to go.
Exactly.
So she knows exactly what she has coming in and who is coming in, and she checks their notes. I think, you know, that's just really good. That's giving the client a great experience, because she's not fumbling around.
Exactly.
Waiting.
And that takes it into that exceptional guest experience.
Totally. And another big thing, Eileen, and we've seen this ourselves, a simple question: is the information I have on file for you still current? You know, and it's whatever the client's name, you know, Catherine or Danielle. Let's use Danielle. Danielle, is the information I have on file for you still current? You know, have you had any change of address or phone number? And every once in a while, I think that is a question that should be asked.
You know, it's really interesting, because in our business, of course, we run it up against the fear factor so much when it comes to asking our clients questions, right? But I really want you to, I love my dentist office, and I continue to go there because of the customer experience that I get there. And one of the first questions they of course, they always greet me by name because they know me so well now, but after all these years, but every single time I go in, Joan says, "Oh, Eileen, now is the information I have on file for you still current?" Of course, they do have to ask me that, because I've moved and changed addresses and phone numbers so many times over the years. But guess what? Your clients are too. And of course, with all the mobile phone changes, etc., you must ask them, "Is the information I have on file for you still current?"
Great.
Because don't assume that they'll tell you if anything's changed, because they won't remember. It's up to you to take care of them.
That's right. That's why we're giving them a great guest experience.
Exactly.
All right. Oh, here's another one. Service provider running late.
Well, we love this, don't we? Because
we do.
A lot of times what we think is that if we're running late, it's too bad. You know, the clients will wait, and nothing. The client sits there and sits there and sits there. They have no idea what's going on, and they start looking at their watch and their frustration. And believe me, as a service provider, you know if you're going to be able to handle your client on time or not.
Yep. And I have a little bit of a story about that. My mom and I went to have some waxing. We went to have our eyebrows waxed. We went together, and we went in, we sat down. We were told that She would be about 5 minutes. The girl would be about 5 minutes. We didn't know the service provider. This was somebody new. I go there fairly often, but this was somebody new that was going to do our brows. So we sat there, and a young girl came out from the back with another woman and she was checked out, and we still sat there. And then another one of the front desk coordinators came over and she said, "I'm so sorry." She's, who are you waiting for?
What?
And I went, so I didn't know the name of the girl that I was waiting for. And I said, well, gave her my name, and she went away and she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." The service provider had not checked to see if her next clients were waiting. So 15 minutes later, we were still sitting there.
Wow.
And she had already been and checked out her clients. So, again, it was just a little hiccup, but it was enough to start making me annoyed.
Exactly. And particularly when they have to come over and ask you your name again and who are you waiting for. And it's just second rate.
Yeah. But I did thank the front desk coordinator because I said, I appreciate the fact that you came over to ask.
Yes.
Because rather than sit there, because I was about 2 minutes away from saying, okay, we're going to leave.
Yeah.
I'm not a very patient person.
Well,
so, I think, this is my belief, is that if you're a stylist or an esthetician and you're running late, you should take a minute and you should come out to personally speak to your client.
I think so too. I think it adds that extra je ne sais quoi, that customer experience.
Yeah.
Because if your client is in the chair, you can just easily just say, "Excuse me, Catherine, I just have to let my next client know that I'm going to be running a little bit behind. I'll
Absolutely.
be right back." And you go over, and here it is. "Mary, I'd just like to apologize for the delay. I am running a little behind, and it's going to be another 20 minutes. Do you have time to wait
today?" Yeah. And so if you get a positive response and they say, "Yes, I can." So then I think this is what we should do. I think, "I'm so sorry for the inconvenience this has caused you, Mary. And I would like to offer you $20 off your service today to compensate." So we just put $20 there. I'm assuming it's a color service or something bigger. But, time is money. And we are wasting their time.
Exactly. Yes, your time is money, but so is theirs. Nothing drives me crazier than having to wait 20 or 30 minutes for an appointment without knowing why.
Yes, absolutely. So
I made an appointment.
Yeah. And I really appreciate when the service provider is the one that comes out and says, "I'm so sorry." And we'll often forgive her or him more than we will the front desk person.
Exactly.
But it's not so personal.
Because it's personal care. Yeah. Now, I know a lot of you, as soon as you see us put up this offer $20 off your service, you're like, wow, oh my God. But you know what? When you think about the long-term value of a returning client, somebody who's coming back over and over again,
yeah,
it's small potatoes. Sometimes you have to invest in your clientele.
Yeah. And, sometimes clients will not have time to wait.
Exactly.
Often I am running on a schedule. I don't have time to waste. And so if you get a negative response to, "Do you have time to wait?" Just say, "Mary, I understand you can't wait, but there is another stylist who can take you immediately. Again, because of the inconvenience, I would like to offer you a $20 voucher towards your service." And if they just can't wait, period, offer to rebook them and tell them that you will take care of their service. Again, we are there for the client's convenience. They are not there for ours.
Exactly. I think that just sums it up, Catherine. That's such a great line. We are there for their convenience.
But again, when we're talking about scripting, if you don't have any scripts and you've not done any kind of role playing, or you have no idea what you're going to say, you're stumbling.
Exactly.
So you want to be, this is about being prepared, because in being prepared, then we we do give the clients a great experience.
We do.
Because we're prepared for all eventualities.
And again, I want to go back and reassure you that sometimes it feels a little awkward changing up the way you handle your verbiage in your business. But if you do it once, you may feel awkward. The second time, not so much. Usually by the third or fourth time, it's all of a sudden it's your language. It does not take long to develop it. Probably, if you're seeing 5 clients a day, by the end of the first day, it's almost, you've got it.
Totally. I agree.
And I think too that if you
practice,
practice, right? And if you practice amongst yourselves too, like practice it on each other.
Yep.
It just makes it so much easier. All of a sudden it becomes part of your world.
Yeah, and if you have no one else to practice with, I mean, this sounds a little cheesy, but it works. Stand in front of the mirror.
Yeah.
And watch yourself, interact, because, you do have a friend in the mirror.
Yeah. Or you can get a selfie stick.
Oh my God, don't get me going about selfie sticks. Thank you very much.
Well, I got to tell you, I had visitors in town over the weekend, and we were out at Butchart Gardens, which is just the most incredible gardens here in Victoria. And I cannot tell you how many selfie sticks I saw while we were out there.
Oh, I know. It's the generation of the selfies. Oh, well, to each their own. I put this up because I really believe that, this is all about asking the right questions. And
it's how we got started earlier in the webinar. It's about you ask alternate questions, right? You guide people to where you want them to go.
Yeah. And unless you actually write things down and actually put the scripting in place, it's often difficult to be consistent with the questions that we're asking, knowing what the right questions are to ask.
Because I think the most dreaded words in the salon are, do you want to buy some shampoo?
Do you want to rebook your next appointment?
Those are not
because
the
guess
right
what?
questions.
Most often you will hear no.
Oh, come on. Tell the Veronica story, because it's my favorite.
Oh, well, we're just getting on to rebooking now. And I had a stylist who worked for me. Lovely, lovely woman. She was Russian. Her name was Victoria. And Victoria and I were having one of our monthly meetings. And I said, Victoria, you're rebooking. You're a great stylist, but your rebooking is not very good. And she said, oh, Catherine, she said, I ask everyone, she said, to rebook. And I said, okay. I said, well, maybe the next time I'm watching you, I'll kind of just listen in and see what it is that you're doing. So later on that day, I was kind of observing Victoria in action. And Victoria goes to the front and she said to her client, and would you like to rebook or no? So they didn't even have to say no because she was saying it for them. And she didn't even realize it. She didn't realize those words were coming out of her mouth. It was just part of her shtick. And so, in order to change that, we really had to focus on what it was she was saying and what she had to stop saying.
Exactly. And again, putting it in writing and being able to see it and then hearing it. And, sometimes you can help each other. You can partner up here and listen to each other's language and help guide each other into the right language. Now, these particular scripts are for someone who's at the front desk. And we'll show you how to change it if you're the service provider talking to your client. But this one says, like, Mary, John has recommended that your next appointment should be a color retouch in 6 weeks. Now, do you prefer the beginning or the end of the week? And they'll let you know. Now, is morning or afternoon best for you? I do have an opening at either 1 or 3 p.m. Which one works best for you? So do you remember we talked about you offer alternatives until they find the answer?
Absolutely.
Never once do we ask them a question that's a yes or no answer. But also what we have done here is we have just educated our client on what it is they need to do to maintain their hair or aesthetic beauty.
Yeah.
Right?
And we really hope that has been done in the chair as well.
Exactly.
But this is just reinforcing what's been done.
And again, if you go back to, the consultation webinar, you'll see that all of this is in there because the stylist or the service provider is going to be making these rebooking recommendations while the client still has the cape on. And if it's a stylist, what the stylist is going to say is, Mary, you are definitely going to have some regrowth in about 6 weeks. So I would recommend that we book you in the July 15th time frame. Now, what is going to work best for you, the beginning or the end of the week? So we're going to get them started. Same question, right? Just from, but it's not, you're not asking them for the sale. You're telling them what it is that they need to take care of what you've done. Because why would you invest all this money in your hair if you're not going to be taking care of it at home?
Absolutely. Education. And then, if there are people that they just will not rebook their appointment. So how are we going to handle that objection? So if you have scripting in place, then everyone knows how to handle it. No problem, Mary. We have a reminder service in place called the Wake Up Call. We will call you a week before your service is due, and we can schedule your next service at your convenience. With your permission, I will add you to the list.
Because you want their permission, right? You want them to be able to say, my gosh, that's fantastic. What a fabulous idea. Thank you.
Yeah, but what we know is if you leave them to their own devices to call, that 6 weeks may end up being 8 weeks.
Yes, and not only that, they will call in 8 weeks and their stylist will be booked. So they'll be frustrated, possibly not book in your space, but move on to someone else. So it is really important that in some way we capture their attention and keep them within the fence of our own business.
Absolutely. I mean, rebooking is, I believe, one of the strongest things that we need to do, because number one, we want to be able to look out 6 weeks and know that we have a certain amount of money on our books. We don't want to see this vast sea of emptiness.
Exactly.
There's nothing worse for me for a stylist or an esthetician or any service provider than to look forward and go, oh my God, there is nothing in the book.
Or you start, your first day of the week, like a Monday or Tuesday, and you look through your book and you've got holes, gigantic holes, or maybe whole days that aren't booked. And you think, oh, well, I guess maybe I'll get booked up this week. Well, who's in control of your business here? Are you just leaving it to the winds of fortune or misfortune or whatever? Or are you going to take control of your business? Because in the end, if you create exceptional guest experience, you are in control of your business.
Hear, hear. Scripting will help you do that.
Scripting will help you do that.
So on to referrals. So again, you have to have a script in place because referrals build your business.
Next to rebooking, which is keeping your existing clients, referrals are the next important thing, because what it does is it asks your raving fans to share the word. Yeah.
And you simply need to say, Mary, have you heard about our fantastic referral program?
No, Catherine, I haven't.
Oh, well, let me show you how you can receive free services by simply letting your friends, family, and coworkers know about us, and then outline the program.
That is amazing. I would love to do that.
And the highest compliment you can pay me, Mary, is to share with your friends and family. Because if you refer me one of your friends, that is a huge compliment for me, and I will take care of them.
Isn't that fantastic? Would you not want to go out and share the word about Catherine if you heard that? Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Eileen. So, they may already know about the referral program. So in that case, oh, great. Do you have enough referral cards to hand out?
Yeah, because you do not want to assume.
No, you do not want to.
They still have some, right? Because perhaps you gave them 2 or 3 cards the last time they were in and they've handed them out.
Because oftentimes they need to hand out 10 before you even get one coming back.
Exactly. It doesn't, it's
not going to happen overnight. You got to keep going with this. But the other thing I wanted to let you know, Eileen, is that you can also hand out our referral cards at fundraisers.
Because I know it's fabulous.
I know you go to a lot of fundraisers. So please feel free, come in. We will give you as many as you need and you can hand them out. It's added value.
And, you know, referral cards are so easy to do, people, just so easy. It's just as simple as having a little business card style with your salon name, your name on it, and on the back it just says referred by and the phone number. Absolutely.
And then, you know, whatever your program is, I know for us, it's for every referral we receive, you receive $20 in service dollars. And your friend that you referred, they receive $20 off their first visit.
And here in Victoria, you know, we at our center, we work with a lot of stylists because, and we actually give a $25 cash referral fee to out to the stylists who send us clients with scalp issues.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how we build our business. So get good at referrals and get good at talking about it. And one thing we do in our space, and I think it's really great, especially if you have front desk, is we have laminated our program and made it very easy to read so that we can hand it to a client while we're checking them out and say, I'll let you just read about our program and I'll give you some of our cards as you're leaving.
Yeah, because everybody, you know, it's such a great treat. You think $20, I mean, especially for a color client, that's a decent amount of money. And just think, you know, gosh, you know, if I send in 5 clients, I'm going to get $100 off of the service. That's awesome.
You got it. Way to go. Rock on.
Yeah.
All right. Off we go. Here we go. Check out.
Closing the sale.
This is where so many of us fall down.
So true. Because we're very afraid to ask for the order.
Absolutely.
We just want to say, do you want to buy some shampoo? No, go. Okay, bye. See ya.
Oh God, got that over with, all those awkward questions. So I think, you know, if you're dealing with front desk, it's always great to have them ask, how was your experience with us today?
That is one of the most important things that you can actually even say to anybody, because, you know, when we talk about in the consultation, again, go back and watch that webinar, everybody. But if you can manage their expectations, if they can tell you right then and there that, you know what, this didn't work for me today, or whatever, we have an opportunity to fix it.
Absolutely. Never, never, never allow a client to leave if you know they're unhappy without addressing it. You know, we absolutely want to make you happy. If you don't love your hair, then come on back in and let us figure out what it is that you don't love about it and let us fix it.
Exactly.
If they don't have time, then let's make a date, but don't let somebody walk out of your business if you know that they are not happy.
Because believe me, as you know, that they will share that negative experience with as many people as they possibly can. So let's nip it in the bud. And again, how, you know, when someone says, you know, the experience today was fantastic, everybody feels good then. Everybody.
Absolutely.
Because let's face it, probably 9 out of 10 times, that's exactly the kind of response you're going to get. It was fantastic. Well, you know, your color looks fantastic, or excellent, or great, or
your skin, you know, or your skin is glowing if you just had a facial. But, you know, pay people compliments. Find the words that work for you. I think that's everybody loves to have a compliment, as long as it is given in a genuine
with fashion. A smile.
with a smile. So Eileen, we're moving on. We found out that yes, the experience was great. You know, we've paid them a compliment. Okay, so now we're moving into the
retail sector.
This is
this is my favorite thing in the whole world, because I really believe that sending retail home with our clients does 2 things. First of all, it really enhances their experience with home care. It you know, keeps them happy at home, but it also protects their investment that they've put into their hair. Now, I again think the most dreaded words in the salon are, do you want to buy some shampoo? So, this is a way that we can do it. So John's actually recommended Color Protect shampoo to preserve your color, Catherine. And here at High End Salon, we carry it in 2 sizes, either the 8 ounce or the 32 ounce. Which size would you prefer to take home today?
Well, it's the first time I'm trying it, so I think I probably would take the 8 ounce today. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. It's, honestly, it is as easy as that. At that point, it is up to the client to determine, to say, you know what? I still have some shampoo at home. I think I'll use that up first. Well, that's no problem. I have made a note of the products recommended for you. But believe me, or if you're having any problems styling your hair or maintaining your color, it is probably because you're using the wrong product. Please come back in and we'll set you up with a product that we know will work with your hair.
So what have you done by doing that, Eileen? What have you set up in that client's mind?
Well, first of all, I've set up the fact that, oh my gosh, I better be protecting my my color on my hair because I've just spent so much money on. I just knocked over the garbage pail.
Good for you, Eileen.
I like to keep you on your toes, Catherine.
Yeah, no kidding. But again, you've used some psychology to set up an expectation in the client's mind. Because how many times, we all know this, how many times has a client left? I don't care whether it's for a cut, a color, a facial. They haven't taken the product and then they go, oh, this just isn't working for me.
Oh, you've all experienced this, and you've probably even experienced yourself when you've gone somewhere and had a service and then you think, oh my gosh.
So what we're trying to do here is, address it, say no problem. However, we're setting up a little bit of psychology here. We're setting it up that if anything goes wrong, they didn't take our recommendation. So guess what? That's the problem. So we've removed that the problem is the service, and we have placed in their mind that the problem is going to be the products.
Exactly. And we've done it very graciously.
Yeah. Again, if you work on this and you script this, it's really simple. And I did it for years. And, I never made anybody feel bad that they weren't taking anything. I always put my hand on their shoulder and I go, no problem, not a problem. Just know. And then I would go into
your little spiel.
Exactly what is said there.
If you just practice that, if you're having any problems maintaining your color, it is probably because you're using the wrong product. It's a very simple statement because we want them to understand, they've probably just spent, a couple $100 or whatever on getting a haircut and color. Yeah. And if you're not taking care of it at home, like what's the point? Why? It's like pouring color down the drain.
Absolutely. So again, closing the sale. It's all about how you handle it, how you close out the sale. And let me tell you, the last experience, the feeling that the client gets at the desk when you're checking them out is what they're going to take with them. So, walking in the door, you get 8 seconds. Leaving, you want that client to be walking on air.
Absolutely.
Walking out the door.
Absolutely.
And scripting is going to help you give them that great experience.
And remember, practice makes perfect.
And, we've taken like almost 50 minutes, 55 minutes we've been on the line.
Yep.
A little bit more than 55 minutes. We have just touched on the scripts that you need to put in place or you can utilize. And Eileen and I have a 32-page booklet that
covers all different scenarios.
Oh, we talk about how to ask people about gift certificates,
how to handle complaints on the phone, how to do every single sort of scenario that comes up in the salon or spa.
Yeah. So we have lots of different scripts in this little booklet. It is on our website. It is $19.99. 4 lattes from Starbucks
and it takes all the guesswork out. It's been done for you. Then all you have to do is a little bit of practice. read it over a couple times, try it out on your clients, try it out on your friends, try it out on your coworkers, and bada bing, bada boom, your scripting will be perfect.
And you will get into a flow. Oftentimes when you're reading somebody else's script, it feels a little stunted, but you'll find your words. You know, in Canada, everybody says A at the end of their sentences, or at least that is the perception. In the South, people talk y'all. Glenn Michael, I love Glenn because we were talking and everything was Miss Eileen, Miss Carol, Miss Catherine.
Oh, I love that.
Y'all, you know, I melted at the.
He had me at y'all.
Yeah. So you all will get your own flow with this. But it definitely is powerful. Scripting is powerful.
It changes everything. It takes your business from old school to this millennium. It takes you from being mediocre into being fantastic.
It takes you from, well, when you say mediocre, it takes you from just servicing a client to giving a client a great experience.
Exactly.
And that's what this is all about. It's all about the experience that someone has when they come into your business, because that is what's going to make you successful. And we would love to have a part in that success. So here's where you can go. You can go to www.theprofitablesalonowner.com and you can look up our scripting. Or you can always touch base with us at info@theprofitablesalonowner.com.
Exactly. We're always at the end of an email. So don't hesitate to send us a note, get in contact. We love being part of the Vagaro family. It's been a real treat. Thank you so much for listening in today. And we so look forward to being with you next month. Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.